Right, here we go then. So I'm going in on this one. This is a rant, and I'm going to get quite animated about the fact that Jaguar are going electric. It makes me blood boil. I'm really not happy about the whole concept of this. And again, I'll explain a little bit around electrification. So my personal views on electrification of any vehicles is that it's a viable option for some, but it's not for the mass market. I don't get how this can be something which we can accept. It's going to just take over and be the future for all of automotive. First of all, the infrastructure, it just isn't there at the moment. You've seen loads of reviews on the telly. Tesla have got it now, they've put their own superchargers out there, but beyond that, it's a pain then to rebuild and put all of this electric infrastructure in for all of the cars in the world. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. On top of that, there's the manufacturing cost to the environment. Vehicles that are getting built using these resources, they're not exactly economical to build in the first place. All of the minerals, as far as I'm aware, the minerals that come out of the ground to build batteries. So they're going to take the things out of the ground to build the batteries. How is that any more environmentally aware than burning fossil fuels that you've dug out of the ground? Where's the sense in that? On top of that one, the end of life recycling. Once you finish with a battery and it's done, what do you do with it then? You've got to recycle it fully and properly, or you're chucking it into landfill. So the whole point of electrification, I don't want to sound like a dinosaur or an old man on this one, but electrification is going to be very, very difficult to make it happen and be in the mass market. I get there's a place for it, I understand there's a need. We've got to do something around fossil fuels and burning it and just completely throwing away things in society. But people don't exactly desire an electric car either. There's not really an excitement saying, oh, I'd love to get an exciting electric car. It just isn't an exciting vehicle at all. Then you've got the whole point of this. Tesla are in there. They've gone straight from that don't exist. The manufacturer doesn't exist at all. So they've come along with these crazy doors, self-driving, ludicrous modes that go really, really fast and launch themselves into the market. Fair play to them. They've done a really good job at it. But that isn't for everybody. It doesn't have that same drive and desire. You don't hanker after one of those because of that. You think that it's cool and you might respect it, but ultimately it's about tax and saving money. If you can buy a car that's going to have a massive tax break on it, then you're going to save yourself so much money. Why wouldn't you buy one? If you're not particularly bothered about the heart and the soul of a car, an electric car kind of makes a bit of sense. And for those people, again, that aren't bothered about driving, there's a place for having an electric car. I get it. And again, for me, I've had the experience of the I-Pace. I drove it for quite a long period of time as one of these experiences that Jaguar offered me. It was a great vehicle, no problem with it. It's a great vehicle, it's really fast, spacious, modern. It's a brilliant vehicle. But you're missing the point here, Jaguar. The heart and soul of any vehicle is the engine. And when you've taken away the throbbing heartbeat, that throbbing noise that you get from an engine, again, regardless of the type of size that it is, once that buzz is gone, the excitement wears away really, really quickly. Jaguar used to be a brand going way back that people desired because of what it did, the way that it worked, the way that it operated, the sounds, the smells, the feels. And can you replace some of that mildly? But the sound of a V8, the sound of a petrol engine roaring to life is one of the best sounds that you can get. And again, I might sound old-fashioned and I might be a dinosaur in this one, but my lad, he's 7. And I don't try and influence my kids on what they do and how they watch, how they behave. But when they're sitting there and they're watching something like The Fast and the Furious and they see a car that takes off, it does wheelies and spits flames and has got a massive V8 roar, they get excited. Their bodies, their faces light up. Even out on the streets, if they hear a car that makes a really loud noise, even them stupid farty pop noises that you get on those crap little kids' cars that are going around there, those sorts of things, they turn their heads, they get excited by it. You don't get excited by the whiz noise of an electric car going past you, you just don't. Now, again, you might think, again, that from my perspective, I sound like a dinosaur, I sound old and that I might not want to move with the times. Maybe that is the case, but at the same time, I'm not saying that you have to use petrol or even diesel to fuel your vehicles. Admittedly, there's a big problem with those fuels, but there's been advances in synthetic fuels. Again, the internal combustion engine, and for those that, again, internal combustion engine, the engine. The whole point of that is you put something inside the engine, you set fire to it, and it makes you go forwards. No one says you have to use petrol or diesel. Synthetic, man-made fuels are there, they are available, but not on the mass scale. But once you've got those fuels, you can use the existing infrastructure. There are holes in the ground that take fuel and diesel, give them a clean out, put the other fuel in, and away you go. The infrastructure's there. It's already been built. Why mess around? So then once you've done that, you've got your petrol and your diesel or whatever, they're out of the way. You've got your internal combustion engine. Make all the noises you want. It's great. But the ultimate point about this is that Jaguar's engines, they have lost that heart, that soul that is there. You lose that whole point. When it's gone, it's really gone. Now, going back to this, the whole point of all of this in the first place is that Jaguar are trying to get to a zero emissions at the tailpipe. And that's what we should be looking at. Striving after the zero emissions at the tailpipe doesn't mean you have to go electric. You can do it in many other ways and still retain the heart and the soul of what a vehicle is. If you can get that right, then you're going to make a killing on this sort of thing. Porsche are investing in it. Again, massive resources that they've got. Unfortunately, I feel that for me, that Jaguar got some big mistake. It's a big mistake for them. They're going after something that just to try and stop their need on incessant use of the oil. And again, you look at the owners, Indian market. Again, similarly, they import so much oil in India. I don't know where the minerals are for batteries. Maybe they're underground over there. I'm not too sure. But ultimately, the oil is what's causing the problem, and we're trying to become less reliant on it. I understand that, but unfortunately for me, electric is not the way that you're going to get this massive green climate, the green climatized thing that's going to be so protective to our environment, unless you consider that full end-to-end life cycle. If you can do that, please, and start telling us all about that rather than the zero emissions at a tailpipe just when you drive it, I'll be much more appreciative.